Hello, everybody, and welcome back to this developers vlog for Quest of the Sourcerror. This is the first episode after a long hiatus after the 0th episode. To those of you who don't know it, this is a little video that I'm trying to make about some like development project for kind of like a music video, and it has been ongoing for a bit of time now. I have been on a break from this project due to some just work and life coming in between these small hobby projects. But I'm really glad to be back, and I have been doing a little bit since the last time. So this is actually what will this episode will focus on. Is it is basically just what has happened since the the 0th episode that I made of where I introduced the whole project. So if you haven't seen that, please check in on that. But in this one, I'll go through some of the models that I've been making, as in the character models, and then the environments that I have been creating as well. Then I will reflect a little bit on the learnings, and I will uh, shortly talk a little bit about Midjourney, this AI tool for generating images that I've been using a little bit to create like more concept art and getting more inspirations. So a little bit about my ideas and learnings from that. And then, rounding out with the next steps that I'll be doing, and probably what I'll be doing until the next episode comes out. We've been through the whole welcome. So let's just have a quick look at some of the models. So since the first episode, or the 0th episode, where we did this kind of overview of what we need to do, I've been putting in a little bit what I've been doing. So yeah, it's not that much, even though it's probably around a year or something. But it is what it is. It's just a hobby project, so I don't want to stress out about any tight deadlines or anything. So let's just have fun with it now when we have the motivation. And I think that's a pretty good idea for how to handle some of these projects. So just work on them when you have the energy, I suppose. So what we are seeing here is that I made actually quite a bit on this hero model, and I did all the rigging, so in terms of how they are supposed to move. Texturing, however, that turned out a little weird, and maybe I'll show you a bit later what I mean there. But I think actually when I started working on the environments, I learned quite a bit there. So, and as you can see, I had quite a nice progress here over the last couple of weeks. So I'm really happy about that, and that's, I suppose that's also like the energy I want to continue on. Overall, this outline has not changed that much. I suppose I haven't thought that actively about it, but I know I still have these, at least these different environments that I have to make, and I think that will be the initial focus for me, because I find it's actually a little bit easier, and maybe uh, yeah, just work on, pick up and let go when you need to. Um, but we can look a bit at the models. So the first one I would like to show is the hero model. So this is the model of the guy that will be the hero in the story, and yeah, it is a very quite generic guy. Uh, right now, I think there might be a bit more that I need to change in terms of maybe making some yeah, some textures in the model, or how to say, so that maybe the like for the clothing and for the boots, because right now he does look very naked, and yeah, maybe give him a bit more of a butt, as my wife pointed out. He has quite a flat butt, so maybe we'll give him a bit more junk in the trunk to to run around with. But the overall idea, I think, is basically there. Like it is, of course, very low poly, but I feel like it also it kind of stays true to some of that early early Nintendo 64 and PlayStation 1 era graphics, which is what I'm going for. Um, I'll definitely keep the outline here as this guy. Uh, for the for making this model, I've been working, or I've been watching this guy called Sickly Wizard. So shout out to him. He has a very nice YouTube channel where he goes through some of these low poly PS1 modelings, and how to do it. And yeah, I got a lot of inspiration from him. And then I think uh, I don't know if it was that guy or some other guys, but of course there's a lot of videos on YouTube in general. So about like how the how you do the rigging and all of that stuff. So right now I can't hardly remember how to do it because it's been so long. So I'm not gonna move around too much. But we do have a rig in him, so we can move him around. There's a little bit weird when he moves his torso, then only one of the arms because the arms move in relations to each other. So I feel like I have that as something that I'm going to have to handle down the line, but will not do anything with it right now because I think I just burned out a little bit on that part of it. And that actually brings me into the next part. So where I was starting to burn out was with the UV mapping. So you can see I was trying to make some clothes for him. As it is right now, it's all over the place. It's not looking very good, and yeah, overall, I kind of just burned out on that and didn't really want to bother with it anymore. Um, the good thing is, though, that starting to work on some of the environments, I learned some new techniques that I will probably be sharing. So let me just hardware this abomination, and we can maybe have a quick look at some of the next things. Um, yes, and there I will probably take the city. Don't say any of that. Which you can also see here in the background. This is actually the picture that I rented of the city, uh, which is gonna be like this first area where we're gonna see just an overview of it. So yeah, it is just gonna be a little shot, so that we get into the sense of what is this story kind of. So yeah, just setting the mood. Um, but yeah, you see it's a little cityscape, and there's this giant skull, and it has its like tentacles or veins of whatever this is, like uh, hooked into the city. So it there's definitely some uh, corruption there, so to say. Um, I will try to just find the the initial concept art from my story here. So I'm going to go into the storyboard. Sorry if I'm doing this off screen. Oh, but you can see that here. So this is basically what it has been turned into. I went with a bit more of a cityscape here, just to yeah, because just to make it a bit more interesting to look at, I think. The 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 veins turned into more of this corruption coming out of this instead of going into it. Just felt like that was like a bit more like it. Essentially, it is this skull has arrived after the city, so it's like hooking itself into uh, like maybe this whole setup is a bit weird anyway, but at least that I think is the overall idea. So yeah, that's what I've been doing, and this now as we're floating a little more freely through it, we can see a little bit more about how I made it. So this is basically, I just started out with some blocks and a road, and then just started free forming these. So uh, yeah, extending a lot of these different parts of this block, cutting it up, doing whatever I needed to do, and yeah, just forming out this space so that I have like a little bit of a diverse cityscape that I can work with. And kind of did the same thing for the next part over, and of course modeled the skull. Again, I did that pretty freely, I suppose. Like if like using a bit of references, just looking at the internet, you get a pretty good idea of how that should be formed. And again, it is not a like a it's not like a skull that is supposed to be anatomically correct, but it just have to look intimidating. So I think I succeeded with that, at least somewhat. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. um, and here actually the what I learned here, and one of the really fun things actually made the project really cool, for me at least, is like the painting of the city. So where I was having the problem before with the human model, where I was basically trying to draw to draw like a more flat surface. So I have had these before. Like this is I think we can see it here. So this is actually a picture of my face. Looks pretty uncanny, but there are all these different UV maps that I've been looking at, like trying to get some inspiration. And my problem here is that I've then been trying to draw them as a flat surface, and then afterwards going in and like kind of making the UV of the model fit into this. But one of the features that I then found, searched around for a little bit in in Blender, is that you have this texture paint, so you can actually just paint on top of these yeah, models that you're making, so it becomes kind of like a little miniature Warhammer project or something, where you just like model painting how you feel like it, so you create a material. Again, I'm not gonna go into the specifics of how to do it, but I really found that I like that kind of part of the process. So, and yeah, I've been trying to make some highlights over here where I think it makes sense. Maybe I have to do redo it a little bit. As you can see, maybe the colors, or yeah, the lighting or colors on this side is a bit off in terms, or a bit brighter compared to this side, and that is basically just because I painted this one first, had some different idea, checked out, tried some different techniques, and then I painted this one, and maybe did it a bit quicker, but yeah, I was then trying to like say, okay, if light is coming from up here, from the moon kind of, then I want it to be bright on this side and dark on this side. So kind of using some of those uh, painting techniques that you can look up for, like miniatures and Warhammer figures and stuff like that. Um, but still, overall, I think it turned out pretty okay. There was some weird artifacting on this part of the vein, but I ended up when I was painting it, and I didn't really know how to fix that, and but I feel like it kind of ended up giving it kind of kind of some bump mapping kind of situation where it looks like it has more detail to it than it has. So I was liking that, and then I actually went into the image that all this painting is generated on, and try to copy it over here to the other one as well, so this one doesn't look that odd out. And yeah, I think it turned out kind of okay. And then yeah, once you render that image, you get something like this. I hope you can see it somewhat. Yeah. Um, and yeah, uh, I think it looks okay. It's more or less what I wanted it to be. Like, of course, it's not gonna wow anybody or anything like that. But I think it's okay for the situation. Again, I think I learned a lot just making this. Also, like both in terms of techniques, but also like in terms of the style that I'm kind of going for. You could maybe argue that I could have a bit more buildings out here, but then again, this background image that I'm using is also like have some destructed or destroyed parts. So maybe it's actually okay, and it is just gonna be for those initial 5 seconds. Um, so I think it's gonna be okay, and then in something else gonna make like the title card here. And as it is a 3D model, right, then maybe we can use something where the camera is panning one way or the other, or coming in from the side, or making some kind of a star vibe, or whatever, just to make it to make it look cool and more intimidating. But at least I have this kind of done, so that is also why I've just put it as like 100%, and the texture is also 100%. Of course, there's also always things you can yeah, fix a little bit, but again, I don't want to be too stuck in the details here. I think I've already I spent more than enough time on this part. I removed this rigging part because I don't believe there's gonna be any real rigging. Of course, there is gonna be the camera work later on, but just gonna cross that bridge when I get to it. So first, yeah, it is just the modeling and stuff. Um, so yeah, well, interestingly enough, I actually wanted to go to the next model that I made, but like in this, of course, we have this big background image that is helping to create a lot of the atmosphere, and of course also making so that I don't have to work so much on this. Um, but uh, and that is actually one of the places where I have, as I mentioned earlier, I have used Midjourney. So Midjourney is this tool that you can prompt in order to create images, and I feel like I have. Well, of course, I don't have a lot of experience with it, and you can probably do it a lot better than what I have been doing, and get it like to fit your situation much better. But I will say that uh, there was a point in time, because I hadn't worked on it for a long time, this project, so uh, I was I was thinking about like how to do this, and is there ways to like go around having to make all the models, where I was thinking about something that would be more along the line of Resident Evil, maybe one. So I'm just gonna try and find uh, some of the images that I. So in this old game, Resident Evil, when it was released on the PS1, it's one of the first games we had as kids. I don't know how appropriate that is, but anyway, those were the days, right? But this actually like it has pretty like it has nice backgrounds and stuff, and that is because it is all pre-rendered. And as working like thinking about this project and how to do it, I was thinking about like maybe having these like kind of pre-rendered backgrounds, but if I could like, just like have them made by um, Midjourney, then I could, oh my god, then I could like more easily like maybe get to the actual filming of things, or so to say. So I was trying to prompt Midjourney to do some of these things, and it didn't. Maybe I was a bit too optimistic about what it would be able to do and how it could do it. Um, so I was trying to prompt it to make this dystopian cityscape. So actually, this one I think is one of the better ones. It looks like it has have these veins and such, but then I still wanted that big skull in the middle, and then I tried to prompt that, and then it was like I didn't really understand how to make that skull, and then just it seemed like as I was becoming more specific in terms of what I've wanted, not just like a just not just like the setting, or just how to say like some more or less random picture with it, then it became more like is it like something like this you want with the moon there, or like here we have some cityscape as well. I think this is actually later on from when I was trying to prompt it to do more specific things. But again, here it has it like it shows some quite interesting things here, but I suppose it's also like maybe it becomes a little bit too flat if it's just one image. And then the next problem is then aligning aligning the art styles. I feel like became very hard as I was trying to then do the next room, which I suppose is even more specific, um, as I really wanted to make this office space. Let me just show you how how I envisioned it in my storyboard. So if just find that here. So yeah, it's pretty ugly as it is, but like just like some office space where there's a big door in the middle, because this is what the hero is gonna go through. So it is I kind of need that. But when I was trying to prompt for this, I did I got some like pretty good images, but it's like but then I don't really have the door there, and like trying to do different iterations. So I get a lot of inspiration like with the cubicle kind of situation, and of course it is more or less as I imagined here. I would like it to be a little more uh, confined, like feel more claustrophobic kind of. So I was trying to feed in the image that I had drawn, and like say, okay, try to make this like photorealistic, so it would kind of fit more with some of the style of this, which is yeah, you can still see that it's animated, but it has a like a realistic style. And then what I got back was this, which like I like it, and I feel like it could very well fit the style, but the only problem is that then you start having like discrepancies between the different art styles, and then I still wanted a bigger door, and I wanted that display above, and yeah, it all just like I couldn't get it to work in the way that I wanted, in a really good way. So yeah, so I basically went back to my initial idea of creating this by myself, and then oh, this is the image, but we can try and open up what I then did end up making, because that is also almost done. So wait, I'm just gonna move some of this around. Oh, okay. Uh, uh, 2 seconds. So maybe here we can start to see a little some of it. If I put in the floor and the wall, oh, so then there. Yeah. So here you can see a lot of that modeling work that I've been doing, like making the making the dimensions more or less as I wanted. Here I actually took in my model for the guy, and that was also at the point where I realized that I hadn't made him to any specific size. So in Blender it actually says how tall the objects are. So I tried to make him like, I don't know, 180 meters. I don't know what that is. Like, is that 5'10" or something? 5 foot. Well, at least around that. Maybe maybe 6 feet. I don't know. But around that height, and that's like what I want it to be in generally. So I will try to make all the other locations like the overworld. It doesn't really matter because it's just going to be that one shot, so that's fine. But for all the other rooms where this guy is going to be in, I want to make them so that they would naturally fit and just make everything easier in terms of that. So yeah, I just basically just modeled out all the different. Let me just remove the roof and these things a little bit. So yeah, modeled out a chair and table, computer and keyboard, a little bowl, cup, and a spoon, so they can eat there. I feel like that was sufficiently depressing for this setup to have it like that. Um, so they are like the idea that they don't actually have the freedom to go somewhere to eat or be social in any way, but they just sit there and eat. So I think that's also kind of how it is today. So yeah, oh, it's so deep. Uh, and then I have that door in the middle and my display, and then I put in like a little security camera and this ventilation duct just to have like a little little flavor, a little bit of miscellaneous in there. And some lights are also put in. Um, and yeah, and I of course have the different walls and roof and such. So I at that point have a pretty decent shot of what I want. So here I did put some color in again, so you can see it. Yeah, it's not gonna blow anybody's mind, but at least yeah, try to put a little bit of shadow in there. Maybe there should be a little bit more. I have so it's all basically just drawn. It was trying to figure out what is the right combination of light and such, and yeah, this could probably be redone, maybe even made a bit more like depressing colors, Actually, I don't want to look at this guy because of his UV map being all over the place. Um, I suppose here one of the things that I did learn in this process, I'm just trying to do a render of it just to see how it looks. Yeah, so they still like look a bit separate, so maybe there could be more like shadows on these tables and stuff. But then again, it is what it is. Maybe make the ground a bit lighter or something. So something like that. I'll figure that out how to do it later on. But right now, maybe just move on to the next part to keep it like interesting and flowing, because this is also uh, this can also just be used as it is, I feel. Um, what I did learn at this point specifically, I'm gonna remove these walls again. I think um, as I was, oh, something is weird with these, with the food balls. I feel like they should have, no. I'll figure that out at another point. Uh, oh yeah, but one thing that I did figure out is that I ended up making all the models. Well, I of course just make the one model and then copy it out. But I think I should have uh, I should have finished it all the way, more or less, actually. So do all the painting and stuff on the models before I copy them out, because it will, when you copy it, it will bring this UV map and texture paint with it. However, when I didn't do that right, so then I had to reapply it, and it's not too hard, but it ended up taking a bit of time. And yeah, maybe just for efficiency's sake, if there's something that I need to make more of later on, so that would probably be somewhere like when I'm at this bar, maybe some of this processing facility, when I put in like uh, when I put in like stools and bar tables and uh, like different things, lights and so on and so on, then it would just be easier to finish the one thing up and then copy it out to make it have all the things. So to have all these textures and paint and such, and then I can go on to create the next part afterwards. Um, yeah, so again, that's a little bit about the learnings that I had. I kind of want to see if I can figure out what went down with the table normal food. I should have it here, but okay, it's just completely gray, so maybe that's why it's not working. Then I would have to repaint that, and maybe I could have a look at how that is. So hopefully it's still applied to almost everything. So what we have here, I think, what did the roof? Is it because it takes the roof here? That's a bit weird. No, it's because I am on the roof. So that's of course also one of the things that you that is in the learning department, is like, what thing am I actually working with right now? And I definitely don't want to be doing that, but the food is probably under misc, so I'm gonna take that, and then I'm gonna see which one of them is this. So this is definitely also not the most uh, sensical way of doing this, but oh, no. Okay, we went misc. Food is definitely this one over here. Just gonna try to zoom in on that. Do the texture paint. Turn it around. Okay, yeah. So here we can see it is actually painting. So I must have somehow painted over this, which is of course not good, but I suppose it is not the end of the world. So let me see, did I save anything? Doesn't really look like it. Well, okay, so always remember to save the different images that you're doing. But here you can actually also see that it is affecting the other ones all the way down. So that is actually quite good, because then the mapping of the UV is still there as it is supposed to be. So I just have to figure out how the heck I'm gonna zoom into this piece so I can paint it a bit better. And we do have these different things. So what I would be doing is just to try and take, I don't know, uh, I want to make it a little lighter on the sides here. Here we could probably put the strength up just to make it. But yeah, I kind of want to make it look like some what's that called? Like aluminium tray or something. I don't want too many of these shadows in here. Ideally, it would look like there's a bit of food in here, and I want that to just be this kind of green slob. Oh, so again, I'm just clicking all over the place. So do something like this. Yeah, that's gross. And here it's okay that it goes up the sides a little bit, because yeah, it's like this food or leftovers of the food, so it only makes sense that it would be a little bit all over the place. Trying to mix in a few different colors, maybe like a few highlights of some kind. Could do something like wider. And then, like, I feel like slowly it starts to resemble something that you want it to be. So I'll just be mixing this up a little bit. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect in any sense, because it's like nobody's really gonna see it. But I don't know, like when the camera is looking from up here, yeah, you can hardly even see it. But I think I will have some close-ups, as it is also like kind of stated in the storyboard, where I will be looking at this closer, and there it will be like, it would be like a little more fun if there's actually something in there. So I'm just gonna continue on this a little bit more. We give a few more highlights somewhere, and then maybe give it some streaks if I can. Ah, oh, was a little weird. So, so So yeah, that looks like a nice batch of Soylent Green. And then I want to maybe give a few more highlights to the actual bowl here. So I'm gonna do that with a bit more light colors at the top. And again, I don't, there's definitely somebody who would know more about how to do this than me. Uh, but I feel like this is kind of working for me, so I'm just gonna do that. So I have been uh, working around with different kind of strings and pixel shapes for this. Again, I think it's just like whatever suits the need right now. So I don't have any real strict dogma in terms of what it has to look like and what it has to represent. So I know it. I kind of want it to be this like this old school PS1, Nintendo 64 uh, kind of art style, but again, it's also like not that important. So here I can actually paint the bottom of it a bit more from underneath. It might be a bit too reckless actually. Uh, let's just remove that again because it's not really gonna matter anyway because we're never gonna see the bottom of it. Um, but yeah, there I have that. So I'm just gonna make sure that I save this time, and I've so I'm in the process of finding out what my folder strategy should be here. I think this kind of works for now. Now I can also see it over here. So that's very nice. I know it's been saved, and then I'll just do a quick quality check to see that all the food bowls. You can actually see this one. There's something weird with that. Uh, but otherwise, they're all good. So, of course, something has to be wrong with this one. But it seems like it's using a different UV map because you can actually see it has some of this uh, paint in there, and it is number 15. So let me just see if I can remember how to do that. Uh, well, it is actually out of the frame, so maybe I'm not gonna do anything on that right now. But you can copy the UV map from one object and put it onto another. So I found that was quite useful when I started doing all the other stuff. But of course, again, that's where it would also be easier if you just I think at least that's my theory. I will try that for next time. Just finish up all the painting first and then start to copy them out because then they'll most likely look a little bit more uniform and it will be easier to handle. So anyway, I might fix that later just for the sake of it. But if not, then I don't think it'll be a problem anyway. And if it is, then so be it. um, yeah, so that's kind of where I am at the moment with the office. It might be a little too bright, so might have to dial that down again. But otherwise, I would be moving on to the next area. Oh, uh, yeah, here. Uh, which would be this packing room. So would have to find a bit more reference for how I want to do that, and also yeah, what it should look like. Like I do have a rough idea in terms of my storyboard. So it will be yeah something something like this. What I think it would be is like a mix between some kind of shipping facility uh, and a morgue, because this is kind of where the bodies are carried on further. But I don't know. I need some, yeah, some kind of pipes, maybe do tiles instead of just the gray stuff to like make it look more like a morgue in that sense. Of course, I need to have that hatch where the hero goes down, and then I don't know, whatever these things could be, and then like some meat hooks that they can actually be on. And then I have to figure out like the overall layout of the room, but it shouldn't be too hard. But might want to use some AI thing just to get a bit more to get a bit clearer idea of what the concept should look like. But yeah, I think that more or less wraps it up for this episode. I hope I will be able to make more in the near future. Again, I don't have any specific timeline or anything, so it is it's just gonna come out when it is, and then again, I don't really feel like anybody's anticipating this, so it's probably gonna be okay. But yeah, thank you very much for tuning in, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye bye.